Hello, my motor enthusiasts. It's all systems go as Charles Leclerc shines on the final day of preseason testing at the Bahrain International Circuit, setting a blistering pace of 1 minute, 30.322 seconds, leaving George Russell trailing just a smidge behind. A red flag incident courtesy of Sergio Perez running afoul of a drain altered the day's format, scrapping lunch breaks to keep the engines humming. Meanwhile, Williams trusted Alex Albon with the day's full session, and as the sun set, conditions morphed to mirror those of the upcoming season opener. Leclerc held his fort, followed by Russell and Zhou Guanyu. Max Verstappen ended fourth, taking the wheel from Perez, with Yuki Tsunoda from Red Bull claiming fifth place, keeping the team's performance robust. Albon, despite clocking the most mileage with 121 laps, settled at sixth place. As we gear up for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the teams are now analyzing data, preparing to bring the heat from February 29th to March 2nd. Strap in, folks. That was quite the roundup, wasn't it? Now let me introduce myself properly. I'm Enzo, your chief motor enthusiast here on F1 Motor Fever podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest from the world of Formula One. And joining me today, as always, is the illustrious Mr. William, seasoned commentator and fellow F1 fanatic.
Pleasure to be here, Enzo. I must say, the news from the circuit is revving to go.
Absolutely, William. And don't forget, folks, we're here every day bringing you the best of the best from the fast-paced world of F1. So remember to subscribe to our channel, turn on those notifications, drop us a comment, and share this with your friends and family. It goes a long way in supporting the continuation of this podcast.
Quite right, folks. Your support fuels our engines to keep going.
Speaking of fuel, you won't believe what we've got lined up in today's episode. We've got some insider info, some surprising stats, and a scoop that's sure to leave your engines roaring for more.
I can't wait to dive right in, Enzo.
And dive we shall, William. But before we do, remember, folks, here at F1 Motor Fever Podcast, we're always, and I do mean always, full throttle. Let's get into it. Interesting how the day unfolded, don't you think? Charles Leclerc certainly pulled out all the stops to nail the final day of preseason testing. A 1 minute and 30.322 seconds lap on the C5 Pirelli tires. That's not just good, that's phenomenal.
Absolutely. And to think he's done it just 0.04 of a second ahead of George Russell. Quite the neck and neck there.
Indeed, and the format of the day was a bit of a change, wasn't it? The red flags came up just half an hour into the morning because of Sergio Perez crossing a drainage area. And then, no lunch break, straight into the session till the end.
Yes, and it was a welcome change for Williams, I reckon, with Alex Albon staying on track for the full day.
True. As the day went on and the temperatures dropped, track conditions started to mirror those we'll likely see at the season-opening Bahrain Grand Prix. And yet, Leclerc held on to the top spot, followed by Russell and Zhou Guanyu.
Quite impressive. Max Verstappen, who took over from Perez, managed to secure fourth place after a strong start that saw him leading the timesheets in his first few laps.
And let's not forget about Yuki Tsunoda of Red Bull, bagging fifth place and keeping the team's morale high.
Certainly. It seems like Red Bull is off to an encouraging start this year. And Daniel Ricciardo also deserves a shout-out for completing a race simulation with a total of 70 laps.
Absolutely. But the day's mileage champion has to be Albon, don't you think? 121 laps, that's impressive endurance.
No argument here. It looks like the preseason tests have set a thrilling stage for the upcoming Grand Prix.
We also need to touch upon Williams' Alex Albon's performance, who finished in sixth place. That's a commendable performance, considering he had the car to himself for the entire day.
Agreed. Oscar Piastri, who secured the 7th spot, deserves a mention too. McLaren, however, had a bit of a hiccup with Norris, didn't they?
They certainly did. A clutch issue forced them to carry out a driver swap earlier than planned. But despite this, they managed to get back on track.
That's the spirit of racing, isn't it? Facing obstacles and overcoming them on the fly.
Absolutely, it's all part of the thrill. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, and Perez made up the rest of the top 10 as testing concluded.
As we approach the season's kickoff in less than a week's time, there's bound to be a flurry of activity among the teams as they dissect the data from these tests.
You're absolutely right. The Bahrain Grand Prix, scheduled from the 29th of February to the 2nd of March, is just around the corner. The teams will definitely be analyzing every bit of data to prepare for it, but for now, we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds. William, what's the latest buzz on the digital grapevine?
Well, I've come across a rather hot topic. Just once said, quote, Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes have done a huge amount of diversity and inclusion work together, and Hamilton's already spoken to Ferrari chairman John Elkann about what his new team needs to do on that front, saying Ferrari is super excited to get on and work on it, unquote.
Oh, that's certainly sparked quite a conversation, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Victoria Kuram responded with, quote, Elkann probably said yes to anything just to get him to sign, unquote.
Can't deny he is an asset.
Right. Tactical Bra quipped, quote, Lewis, I can fix her, unquote. To which Ged UK responded, quote, or him or they, unquote. And Syrinx Hobbit added, quote, zeg zay, unquote.
A bit of linguistic banter there.
Then Rodimus Prime 88 commented, quote, right? The team has been historically prejudiced against any nationality working in their team, even at the cost of performance, unquote.
Strong words.
Indeed. To this, Not Right replied, quote, hey, they have a very diverse group of employees. There's Italians from the north, there's Italians from the south, there's even Italians from the middle, unquote.
A bit of light-hearted jab, eh?
Yes, this topic has certainly sparked some lively debate.
We're at the end of another episode of F1 Motor Fever podcast. Thank you for joining us today, where we've discussed a range of topics from race results to driver performances and even some online chatter. If you've enjoyed our banter and want to keep up with the latest in Formula One, be sure to subscribe and activate those notifications. Your support means everything to us.
And hey, don't be shy. Share our podcast with your mates, your motorhead uncle, or even your nan who loves a good race. We promise there's something for everyone here in F1 Motor Fever podcast. Oh, and do drop a comment. We love hearing your thoughts, / even the cheeky ones.
Absolutely, we thrive on your feedback. And don't forget, we'll be back with more content, so stay tuned. You certainly wouldn't want to miss out on our insightful and sometimes hilarious discussions, would you?
Indeed. And remember, we're on air every day, so there's always something to look forward to.
We're so grateful for your support and cannot wait to be with you on the next episode.
So until then, keep your enthusiasm high and your spirits even higher. And always remember, Wakefish, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold.